plays were incredible. The pickoffs were amazing. I think OMG has to reevaluate its pick and ban phase a little bit differently because they had a great comp. They got everything they wanted, but they gave up so much. And this is a team that's been praised for being incredibly cerebral in the way that they ban out enemy teams, especially. I think giving Korn his favorite champion was a huge mistake.
I think a lot of that went down to Cool thinking that he had the answer, he had the outplay. But I think if we are going to singly target a weak point that particular match on OMG, it would definitely be in the jungle. Drug did not have the greatest performance on Kha'Zix, which is strange that he went to that champion for how well he's been doing with Lee Sin and Jarvan. So his Lee Sin stats are out of 11 games, he's won 9 of them. And out of 6 games, he's won 5 on Jarvan.
Yeah, I think that they've got to go for something that suits them a little bit better. Drug definitely needed to step up a little bit more. His Kha'Zix play wasn't terrible, but he looked a little flustered. You saw that fail flash on the back foot when he was trying to run away from it. But on your screen, got the victors from our last game. Yeah, are thinking really, really hard about what they want to do this next time.
How StarHorn must feel at this point. I mean, you want to talk about pressure. Of course, Worlds is on the line. If they win this game, StarHorn automatically qualified for Worlds. If they lose, if they fall into the losers bracket, if they don't qualify at all, INSEC has already stated, you know, I'm here because I want to go to Worlds, I want to be in the finals, and if I don't make it, I may not come back. So, huge gamble for StarHorn Royal Club.
Yeah, it's kind of everything on the line here, but 1 game away from Worlds. I mean, that is huge, and it looks like we are into picks and bans, so we'll kick it over to that. First off the table, it is the Cow, as well as Maokai. That's been pretty constant.
Of course, again, this is 4.14, so Alistair has not had his nerfs. I believe we only saw him played once yesterday, so he should be banned continuously throughout this set. I expect Rise to be a target. Don't think they want to give that to Go-Going so easily. Not that Cole didn't hold his own, but Go-Going was definitely a strong point of threat there.
Yeah, Rise is off the table now, too, and we, of course, see Rengar banned away. I think these are definitely a little bit better choices, but this leaves Lee Sin open, and if INSEC, if they opt to first pick it, StarHorn's on the blue side this time. It's been his signature champion, and we'll see if they go back to it.
I think they'll prioritize a mid-pick more, especially for Korn kind of fell behind a little bit in the early game, but really came through strong. Expect it to be the Orianna.
Yeah, I think I'll have to see that. Now, with Fizz banned out, yeah, that's the choice. So it is going to be that first pick, and that's fairly safe, all said and done. This does leave Lee Sin open. I think Drug will get a much better jungler in this particular case.
And again, picking up the Lee Sin, it would be a takeaway from INSEC, but those stats, I mean, out of 11 games, 9 games won on Lee Sin. It's a ridiculous win rate in the competitive scene.
Mm-hmm. So I think they kind of have to go back to what their strength is, and we're getting a little bit of technical issues on our end, guys. We'll be taking yet another quick break. Sorry about the issue. We'll be bringing it back around in just a moment. Be right there. Alright, quick mix-ups, of course, resulting in some few issues for us, guys. Thanks for bearing with it through all that. But we're in picks and bans once again, and we've seen a few interesting choices here. They opted to lock in Lucian first. Well, second, I guess, technically for OMG. That did leave a lot of interesting choices on the StarHorn side, Aurelia and Janna.
Again, prioritizing that Lucian, it helps superficially bump up Son's laning phase, allows him to kind of skirt through that, which actually wasn't their weak point the last game. Son did great in laning phase due to a large part of Dada 7 being on the Thresh. This time around, going to be on the Nami.
Yep. It's locked in now, leaving Go-Going to go for Jax. It's a bit of a takeaway, even if, you know, Korn had already locked in his champion, just saying, hey, anything you can do, I can 1v1 you better. Go-Going was incredible on that Rise last time, and of course, meriting the ban. Absolutely. It's not something we usually see.
Oh boy, and a Jarvan hover.
Yeah, I think they might go for this, though. INSEC, they're kind of trying the back and forth. I like it. Vayne now for Uzi, and this is something we've seen him play so many times to so much scary success. But last second switch up over to Caitlyn. Wow.
Okay, this is a total throwback to Worlds. Uzi, known for his Caitlyn. We actually haven't seen him pull it out in competitive play. Like you said, has fallen back to Vayne, had the crazy pentakill on it, which if you haven't seen that pentakill, you need to stop watching this and go watch that because it's that amazing. But the Caitlyn, this is a big comfort pick for him, a huge throwback. Haven't seen it, see if he maybe gets to dust off that rust, but...
Yeah, oh, and guess what was left on the table for Cool? He hasn't pulled it out in a couple of games, but it will be this time Yasuo to deal with the Orianna.
And of course, Cool has solidified himself as a top Yasuo player, now holds the record as the most gold per minute out of any competitive player. It was 610 gold per minute on that Yasuo. I think his score ended 21 and 6, something ridiculous like that in a competitive match.
Yeah, I think this is going to be yet another good game. So with pick and ban concluded, guys, all that's left is for us to take to the Rift. We'll be taking a quick commercial break. We'll be right back with you.
对，哎，你之前有看过一张图吗？就是小狗的维恩特别肥，然后后面一个辅助弱弱的躲在他身后，所以你要保护哦。
你说是装备肥还是身材肥？
身材。
哦。
就身材也是装备嘛。
对。
其实那张图是国外一个玩家画的，就是想表达优代的维恩特别肥。
对，优代维恩真的是中外驰名。
没错，
中国著名商标。
就是在去年 S3那一场8强的比赛里面，
对，
给我们带来了今天的维恩表演。不过不论如何的话，台上的两支队伍今天肯定还要再打一场。
All right, guys, here we are on to Summoner's Rift. So a little bit of ghosting is happening, but okay, there we go. Starting off this game right, OMG on the back foot has to come back if they want to keep their World's Dream alive. Well, they will have another chance even if they lose this one out, and it's likely that they would win against LGD, but still, you want to win it here, you want to get the better seed, the better opportunity, and they're going to try against StarHorn Road Club up one game. Oh, looks like we are having another couple of technical difficulties with the stream. Thanks for bearing with us, guys. Okay, there we go. Back to a little bit normal. Going to get a little bit of 1v1 action on Nicola early on. But otherwise, pretty normal. Line of scrimmage for both these teams. Nothing we don't expect to see.
And this is expected, of course. OMG pressures on StarHorn World Cup. They don't want to throw an early advantage with some sort of shoddy invade. Again, like you said, they win this, they step into Worlds. So yeah, OMG is playing from the back foot, but the pressure is on just as much for StarHorn World Cup to perform. They have a lot on the line as far as their player contracts.
Yeah, they want to be able to keep the roster together, and that's sort of very conditional on winning, doing well at Worlds, and they have to make it there first. So far, really making a statement for themselves. OMG, not used to playing. Well, they are maybe used to playing in this particular situation, down a game, but in this manner. StarHorn really just looked like the crisper executing team.
See if they're able to carry through with that, especially with this Janna Caitlyn bot lane. Possibly one of the worst experiences you can ever have.
Yeah, that's kind of a rough thing to deal with. Especially Zero has been pulling out the Janna just in this particular event. So it was previously only played by EDG's support, FCZF, in the LPL, and it has been making a big comeback. It gives Uzi a little bit of that speed boost early on, and we have not seen Caitlyn in competitive play. Interesting to see it here.
CLJU, effectively it's a sustained poke lane versus a harder poke lane.
Yeah.
Caitlyn's range, of course, going to be a huge factor, but it's all about who controls these minion waves.
I think that Uzi should have the advantage here just because he can play safe on this champion. It has been kind of a throwback for him. I'm really curious to see where the junglers go, because again, you always see Insect making an early play down to the bot, but he's on a different kind of champion this time, Jarvan.
It's not really his MO. He has played it a couple of times over the course of the split. See what they're able to do as far as synergizing the ultimates with the Shockwave Cataclysm. That is a devastating combination. But again, his MO typically is to gank the bottom lane, to snowball Uzi, which on Caitlyn doesn't necessarily mean as much as it would, you know, on a Lucian, on a Vayne, on one of those other picks that he typically plays.
Yeah, it's kind of a little curious to see this mix up here, but nonetheless, a very, very safe start from both teams. I think StarHorn is learning that they have to be a little bit measured against a team like OMG. See Cola realizing, oh, I can't run right into a Jax when he has his Counter-Strike on cooldown, or off cooldown, rather.
What concerns me on the side of OMG, again, we talked about the fact that neither team really brought a lot of siege or anti-siege potential in the last game. It was very much about the engage, counter-engage. Janna, Caitlyn within Orianna. Royal Club found a ton of success being very methodical and picking up their towers, making sure that they found the picks and transferring that into objectives. This composition is suited perfectly for that.
Yeah, I think they should be able to make that kind of thing happen. Playing to the win conditions has been something that both these teams are very, very good at, but OMG on the back foot now might have a little bit of pressure on them. I mean, they played very well, especially Dada7 and San, who we hadn't expected them to really step up to the level they did. But how, if anything, will they tilt a little bit from this? Right now, they're being forced out of lane.
Which is to be expected. Caitlyn is a pain to deal with, possibly the strongest lane champion. Of course, Lucian, no pushover himself, but like I said, if you get control of that minion wave, you pretty much dominate the lane, and fortunately, San and Dada7 having a rough go of it. Yeah.
They aren't going to be able to get the range out here. Now, Dada's doing his really best job just to avoid getting poked out by Uzi, but it's almost impossible. San is keeping up in farm pretty well, though. Give him credit for that.
Oh, definitely. See as they continue to trade here. Kind of curious that the junglers have been so quiet. In Korea, some Lee Sens will decide to jungle until level 6 because they feel like that's when he gets a big power spike with his ultimate. Especially you have to consider the fact that he's getting his Dragon Rush. He wants to time that with the Yasuo Last Breath and use the synergy there. Insect, though, very quiet on the Jarvan. Does have more, gank potential as far as CC with the Flag and Drag at earlier levels, but hasn't used it.
Yeah. I think that Insect might not be the most comfortable on this champion compared to others. He does have a massive champion pool, and Jarvan is in it, but it seems to me that he would have gone back, maybe prioritized. He didn't get Lee Sin as an option. He could have gone for Kha'Zix. We haven't seen him play it as much recently, but I'm a little bit surprised at that choice.
Now checking into this top lane. The Aurelia Jax matchup. Kind of an old throwback, the fact that Go-Going is taking this away from Cola. It's funny, too, because Go-Going was more known for, throughout the split, playing the Aurelia, and of course Cola, a big Jax player, so to see them taking the reverse on the stance. But what these champions do is very similar. They're both item-dependent champions, so even if one of them gets the snowball or you stall out their power spike, they're still going to be Jax, they're still going to be Aurelia at some point in the game. It just takes X amount of gold into that. That said, it's who are you more scared of, Cola or Go-Going?
Well, yeah, at the end of the day, depending on who you put him on, Cola has been pretty good on this Aurelia pick, but it's been Go-Going that's been making the fights happen in that last game. He really came up massive. Now San, a little bit of trouble. I feel like this is going to be one of those late First Blood games, because when a crazy, intense, back-and-forth fighting game happens, both teams sort of take a step back and go, whoa, we got to take a slight break. Unless your name's Go-Going and you're just ready to duke it out constantly, as you can see up there.
He does have a bit of a favorable matchup. You have to think when Aurelia, how she wants to do her damage. She wants to walk up to you, hit the equilibrium strikes, and then start going into her true damage and her attack speed. But Jax has the perfect answer to that because he's just going to start spinning his pole and dodging all of that free damage. So depending on how they play with their abilities, it's a very finesse lane. It should be really fun to watch as they get more levels, get more items, and try to, really duke it out.
Yeah, and it's going to be fun to see how the team fights fold out, especially with Uzi on a champion that really can't just run into your face as he likes to do. Kind of surprised he didn't go for that Vayne choice, but they have a definite strategy in mind here, and I want to see how it plays out later on in the game.
StarHorn Royal Club going for the classic tower pushing, though, and do take the first tower of the game. Again, talking about the fact that it's Janna Caitlyn. What does that champion do? She pushes tower, and she does it incredibly well.
Yeah, it's not too difficult to win lane as Caitlyn, especially on someone as proficient as Uzi, but they've really kind of ended that prematurely. I think the Dragon going to be the next easiest objective for them if they can force OMG to fight. But we'll have to see. Uzi going to be able to back and spend at this point. Nice and easy controlled game from them.
The tell will be if Uzi and Zero now go mid and try to put down another global objective and swing maybe a pick into a Dragon pickup, or if they continue with the pressure onto the bot lane. Again, if San decides to freeze it here, I mean, that's not the worst case scenario. It's a Lucian. That's not a Jinx or a Kog'Maw or Tristana. You're not going to freeze the lane and then come out late game as a hyper carry. I think that San really, he needs to put the pressure back down onto the bot lane, and he needs to force Uzi and Zero to stay in the lane and to respond to protecting their tower.
Yeah, if he can do that, I think they will have a lot better of a time keeping control of all this. Now with the lane swap, the late lane swap coming in, they might give up a bit of this Dragon pressure here, and this might be a mistake by StarHorn. OMG, recognizing the situation, should be able to 3-man this.
Just ineffective backs, really, from StarHorn World Cup to lose this objective, especially because they have control over the lane. That said, I mean, this Dragon Gold, it really doesn't mean much as far as giving OMG a boost because StarHorn World Cup got the first tower. So, in the end, StarHorn's going to try to push down this top tower now. Yeah,
they should be able to push it in pretty hard. GoGoing's going to have a hard time responding to that. Nonetheless, it's still a decent defense. It's holding. San can deal with Cola with the help of Dada. There's also Loveling making his presence continually felt down here. And Insec has been completely MIA, just off in farmland.
I just feel like StarHorn could have gotten the Dragon and the tower. I feel like that was kind of in their grasp right there.
Yeah, a little bit of a mistake.
You know, the Orianna.
Oh, cool.
Level 8.
Trying his luck with Korn. It's not going to result in anything. Yeah, this game it's so night and day, the performance. Just in general, what they're going for is so different. And you can see that StarHorn is kind of evolving into this much more strategical team the more time goes on. Nice win wall. Moving the ball back just a little bit. Cola here. It's moving in there. Tower finally falls in the top, so StarHorn will maintain that 2-tower lead. Get themselves a little bit more ahead in the gold department. Insect finally making his face known, but that's OMG backing away in the bot.
Prioritizing trying to put going behind. That said, if Uzi and Zero back away from this and now continue to the mid tower or try to push this down, going just going to freeze that farm wave. And again, Jax is an eye-dependent champion. He's a hyper carry late game. He excelled in the 4VO meta. Although, hold on a second, because Loveling
he wants to make this play happen. They will get the kickback on Insect, but the ball comes in. Loveling, he's low. He gets a safeguard off, staying perfectly safe, and the teleport is canceled. All right, guys, we'll come back in 5 to try to make that happen again. That was really close for comfort.
Again, still a very late first blood. Not quite enough damage to finish off Lee Sin. Has that mobility for him.
Yeah, that was a bit of a mistake. I think Drug got really overzealous there, and you can tell OMG is getting impatient. They are losing towers. They are giving ground up. They've managed to secure the Dragon and Answer, which is a bit of a mistake by StarHorn, but nonetheless, they are so far behind, just with the way they're playing. Oh, Uzi, Counter-Strike on there. Heal spent immediately. Dada's in the picture, but they will be able to back away from GoGoing's Jax.
See if Uzi and Zero make a rotation to this mid lane tower and make it 3 for 3 on these first tier objectives. And as far as OMG, they're just making moves without the proper vision. That jungle gank on mid was just ineffective because they had no sight there. If you look, that vision is entirely controlled by StarHorn Royal Club.
Well, we talked about a little bit of the potential for them to tilt. They have been having trouble. Despite the huge performance, they still find themselves down a game. And you got to wonder how much that plays into the way they're going. They got 2-0'd hugely at the LPL Summer Finals by Edward Gaming, and they didn't look very good, very confident at all in that. And you could just tell in between, in the offs time, they were really thinking hard about what they have to do because their best just wasn't enough.
Naturally, very emotional players, especially coming out of the mid lane as we look at Cool right here, kind of cruising through the jungle. Zero and Uzi now in the mid lane.
Loveling, he's in the brush waiting for a pick. He finds Insect, but he gets way too close for comfort. That is going to be cool, getting the ult off. Janna ult, reset, Zero, making the save for the jungler. Insect has been nothing more than a giant meat shield so far.
There was no kill there for OMG. I'm not quite sure why they went so hard. And speaking of going hard, Cola
yeah, going. He doesn't have quite the damage. Cola gets his ult off on him, still continuing to chase the Jax down equilibrium. Oh, he gets him! Wow, first blood in mid-jump. GoGoing goes down, and that's not what we expected to see. And now the fight's starting in the mid. Zero. Oh, he's going to get the tornado off on the back. Ball's going to land in. Insect still alive. Finally going down to Cool. But at what cost? Everyone is blinking health bars. And Dada 7, they can't get in front of him just in time. Uzi will get himself a kill as well. And StarHorn, this is very sloppy fighting from both these teams, but StarHorn is edging themselves out a lead here.
Technically a 2-for-1 across map due to the 1v1 going, just completely underestimating the damage that Cola was able to put out right there, but a very nice disengage from Nami. Dada 7 does end up trading his life as well as this mid-tier tower for StarHorn World Club, but that team fight could have been a lot worse with the Nami ult hit of, I think, 3 or 4 members.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt to disengage. Dada has been a little bit better on Nami than we've seen him before. Again, he's been stepping up and not face-checking brushes, most importantly. But that was really uncoordinated. You saw everyone moving to try and block, and they're like, who do we block with? Because everyone's going to die to this Caitlyn ult. But in the end, they just kind of let Dada take one for the team.
OMG definitely playing on the back foot, not really finding anything successful. They need to group up and they need to utilize their composition correctly. Again, it's about the synergy of the Yasuo. Anytime Cool plays Yasuo, you often see like a Braum, you always see the Lee Sin combination there, and it's just giving him so many opportunities to thrive and to be that, 610 GPM Yasuo that he kind of established himself as. And
that was a
frankly,
terrifying game.
Happened.
Yeah, he's been only playing Yasuo competitive. Well, he's only played it competitively a couple of times now. There was that one monster performance.
Times?
This is his
Maybe
third game on it. The second game, not so much impressive. Going is going to check and find himself Cola. The damage is real, but Cola might have found a little bit of a bad spot to be in behind the minion line. Going will 1v1 for days, but he gets stunned up by the Equilibrium strike. And Cola walks away for free. The bashing continues up in that top.
Has to be very careful. Doesn't have his tower, though. And doesn't have the safest vision, actually. He's just got that single ward into the river, so expect him to pull back right there, especially as all of StarHorn World Club's members are hidden away in the jungle.
Smart move. Very conservative play from OMG coming out the second game, and you can tell that they are just in a mentality of, okay, we have to just control this pace better and better and better. Dragon is going to be up. They have the timer on it, taking it last time. However, Insec is in the picture, waiting in that brush, and they get the ward now. They know what's happening. They're not going to be able to take this.
StarHorn has made it clear that they do know. See if they'll maybe put up a fight here. Cola isn't in the picture. His teleport is available.
Zero wants to get in and clear the ward, but he just knows. Oh, the bubble comes on up. They won't have enough damage to follow through on that one. They don't want to go into a fight at this stage of the game. Too many factors mitigating what could happen here. And OMG just kind of running around trying to grab objectives sneakily wherever they can, but they're not being allowed.
They don't have the vision control. Again, they don't have the gold to secure that area, so they have to be very careful. Anytime, Zero effectively, as Janna, zoned out the entire team because they had no idea how many people were behind him.
Yeah, and now all members of StarHorn moving towards this dragon. It's going down very quickly, and I don't think OMG is in a really good spot to try and contest. They walk right into a dissonance, and they just have to back off. Dragon in the pockets of StarHorn. Oh, here comes Loveling. What are you doing? That's a 1v4, and Cola goes all the way for him. The Ignite will finally be enough. Well, it ends up being Cola that just finishes him off with one more tick of his ult, but yeah, what is Drug doing?
Huge miscommunication. Cool wasn't in anywhere near ult range there, and again, it's about using the composition, stacking those ultimates. Now puts them at a numbers advantage, and here comes the engage.
Oh, they're going to follow all the way on to Son. He's in the pot. Oh, he goes down. They managed to get the ball off. Nonetheless, OMG is in huge trouble right now. Cool finally falling. Cola is coming up big, 3-0 on this Aurelia, and they go for the back tower dive and get themselves 2-for-1.
We'll also make it the tower again. You're competing against Orianna, Janna, Caitlyn. They should be able to burn through this fast. See if maybe Loveland can get in position. Nope, there they go.
He keeps on trying, but this is some really questionable Lee Sin play. Yeah, he's got the mechanics to pull it off, but the decision-making is just subpar here, and that is a lot of damage Uzi is dishing out. Oh, he might be in trouble, though. Gotta back away from that.
Ult.
Okay, spending it on going is a good idea, too. The gap close.
Communication problems. We've talked about this all the time as far as the blueprint for OMG and when they're successful. When they're successful, it's because they're working as a particularly in that Bash Bros going, Cool, and Drug. Their synergy is so key to their success. If any one of those factors is off, the entire team falls apart. So they're either amazing or they're a disaster. And right now it looks like the latter showed up.
Yeah, I think OMG is going to have to rethink this, especially if they do fall in this game. Going up against LGD should be a much easier opponent, But nonetheless, this is not what we saw from them last game. They are uncoordinated here. They are not taking smart fights. Now, Cool might have the best performance of all, but he finds Insec out. He will take the 1v1 for a second, but here comes Cola for the 1v2. And Uzi around the side. Loveland is there. OMG mobilizing the defense of the second-tier turret, but they are only giving more gold to StarHorn because they just keep ceding ground further and further. Finally, Going will take out a bottom-tier turret, but that is the first of them. They have to really start splitting a little bit better than that if they want to establish some map control. Going does not have a teleport either.
Is the versatility of their composition and what they're able to do with it. I mean, OMG has two types of win conditions. They either win the 5v5 because they stack, you know, the knockups with the Yasuo ultimate and get a quote-unquote wombo combo, or they play a split push with either Yasuo or more likely with Jax having the teleport. StarHorn World Cup have those exact same combinations. You know, they have their own wombo combo. They have the ability to split push because they have the Aurelia, but they also have this siege potential with just a straight 5v5 on a tower because it's Caitlyn Janna. They just have that slight edge.
Wow, Going. Oh my goodness. That was a lot of damage from Uzi's ultimate. Not quite enough. The ace in the hole will force him back, and this tower is all but locked up for StarHorn World Club. They are slowly controlling this. This is such a different team that we're used to seeing, and I feel like the tables are turned here.
It's funny because we think about StarHorn World Cup as being very aggro and being very aggressive early and making these crazy plays, but this type of play is actually exactly what they've always been known for. Not even with this roster. If you take this all the way back to Season 3 when they faced off against Fnatic, Fnatic actually had more kills in that game that StarHorn won, but StarHorn won because every time they took a fight, they also took an objective. Again, different roster, but the same mentality. Why is Caitlyn such a good pick for Uzi? You have to think he's so far ahead, he has that eye edge and the Shiv complete, that if he picks a squishy target with his ace in the hole, that's free damage. For sure, that's going down. They turn that into a health advantage, they turn that into a numbers advantage, they turn that into an objective. This is the same play that StarHorn has been doing for a very long time, just under a new face.
Yeah, that's true. They've always had that strategy in the back pocket. We've yet to really see it most of the summer, most of this year, in fact. But Uzi and company, they're really kind of going for the throwback strat, and it's working out for them quite well. OMG does not know how to respond to this.
That said, OMG not out of this yet. They do have tools and weapons late game. Like I said, you can never count out a wombo combo. Both teams have the ability. Exactly, and they have the late game scaling of both Jax and Yasuo.
Oh, Corn. Cool has actually been, I don't want to say outdueled, but Corn has been keeping pace with him incredibly well, and this is the power of his Orianna.
It's the wording, too. Yes, Orianna's a very safe lane because she's able to just shove him in, but keeping Cool in lane, making sure that he can't roam, the fact that Insec never really overcommitted in the mid lane. When Cool had that crazy Yasuo game, it started with a double kill because of a counter gank that Drug was able to pull off. The fact that they never really fought around Cool, that they've been warding and controlling the vision around mid, that they've been able to kind of sidestep him. Every time you see him off into a side lane looking for, you know, that assassination roam potential, he's never able to find it. StarHorn World Cup is doing a great job of starving him out.
Oh boy. Drug tries to get a little bit of extra damage onto Zero, and it sort of backfires. Baron, he hits them both equally. Yeah, talk about the way that this mid-game has played out, and it kind of reminds you of Edward Gaming a little bit. This is what you does all the time to strong mid-lane opponents, especially Cool in that LPL final set, is just stall him out, keep him occupied. Yeah, I can't outplay you, but I can keep you busy, and my team can win. And here they go, diving for Cool. Speaking of which, he does flash away from the Cataclysm. He will get out Uzi. Took a little bit too much damage there, but they are still moving as a 4-man unit with the split push Aurelia going on in the bot side. StarHorn definitely looking for the lead here. Dada, that is a huge ace in the hole. Shockwave going to land on San. Oh, he's low. The heal's not enough. He goes down, and Corn is going to find himself a pick. Meanwhile, the bot lane, Cola, dueling out with Going. Who's the stronger team now? It looks like StarHorn moving on through yet another tower, 6-1, 22 minutes, and they've turned up the heat.
And most of their gold lead has been built up on these global objectives, these towers, these dragons, and at this point, StarHorn, it's just a procedural win for them. Like we said, OMG, although, hold on.
Yeah, we're not done yet. Here we go. Loveling trying to make the plays onto Corn. He is going to go low. Janna ult saving his life for just another moment. Uzi going to get a pick onto Cool, and Drug is going down. Nobody dies on the StarHorn side, and they're going to knock down inhibitor number 1. That is 2 more members knocked back to Fountain, and this is StarHorn running train on OMG.
This is StarHorn World Cup from Worlds. This is going to be a very difficult game for them to throw. They can't
I like
allow
how you
this Baron
preface
to go
that.
down. It's again, it goes back to the win conditions of OMG's composition. The pick ban phase and the composition itself was very weak. StarHorn just has a lot more options, and right now, every single option for them is working. They're winning the team fights, they're winning the split push, they're winning the tower siege. OMG doesn't have, they don't have an Orianna. They can't clear these waves safely. Cool has to be on the front line to do so. They have a culling, and that's about it. And their base is just being taken right before their eyes, and there's nothing they can do about it.
You're right. It's a dual composition, and they're not in a position to duel. They cannot fight.
StarHorn did a great job by protecting the map. The fact that it's funny because we say StarHorn does the same thing every single game as far as with their aggression, but they did a different play style to get the same result.
Hello, 23-minute
more
Baron,
careful
pretty
this game.
normal. Drug is zoned a little bit here, and they will go for the pick if they can find it. That is a very, very low Baron, but Drug is still a threat for the steal. Can they get back in the game doing this? There's the Yasuo Tornado coming in. Leveling is zoned out. Ace in the hole. Wow, it's quite a lot of damage, but this is enough. Oh, they take him down. Zero getting the kill credit for that. And Cola leading the charge as Baron finally gets completed up. This is a nightmare. OMG, Dada 7. He's being chased down by Goes. Equilibrium Strike finishing it up. Going in all of that. Gets himself a second-tier tower, but that is not a good trade for OMG as they lose 2 members and give up the Baron. Might be more here. Oh, San, goodbye.
A little bit more. And again,
Cola, jeez.
StarHorn World Club as a unit was actually kind of chasing back to the jungle, but the 2 pings went down on the mid tower. We have the Baron, we found the picks, go for the objective.
Speaking of dueling, these guys down in the bot lane don't give it up, but it's all about the mid right now. Cool, he's going to go low. He goes down. Insect doesn't even die. Inhibitor number 2 will fall here. Split push Jax is not enough to save OMG's game right now, and they're thinking about ending right here, right now. Nexus turret number 1 is going low. They should be able to take it out. Jax is not able to back. This is going to be the end of it. He's trying to teleport. Cola, can he stop him? Yes, he can. This is going to be the game, and StarHorn World Club is going to Worlds.
And after that performance, they absolutely deserved to manhandle OMG, just dissected them. And we saw 2 different types of compositions come out for them. Same type of play style and MO that StarHorn likes to go, but both incredibly effective.
Yeah, that was really impressive, the way that they were able to do both those games. Completely different strategies, worked both times, and they just dominated OMG from the get-go. That was incredible play. And I cannot wait to see how they do up against Edward Gaming in our final set of the night.
That will be a fantastic match. But before that, we actually have LGD versus OMG. So yes, OMG did lose here. The world stream is still alive, though, for them, as is for LGD. 2 games, and we'll have our 3rd seed.
Yeah, we'll have to find out how it goes after this. But guys, we'll be taking a quick break before we get back into that one. Thank you for bearing with us through all the technical difficulties. We'll be back, of course, with the remainder of the Season 4 World Championship qualifiers for China. You're watching here on LPL. We'll be right back. All right, quick mix-ups, of course, resulting in some few issues for us guys. Thanks for bearing with it through all that. But we're in picks and bans once again, and we've seen a few interesting choices here. They opted to lock in Lucian first. Well, second, I guess, technically for OMG. That did leave a lot of interesting choices on the StarHorn side, Aurelia and Janna.
Again, prioritizing that Lucian, it helps superficially bump up Son's laning phase, allows him to kind of skirt through that, which actually wasn't their weak point the last game. Son
Plays were incredible. The pickoffs were amazing. I think OMG has to reevaluate its pick and ban phase a little bit differently because they had a great comp. They got everything they wanted, but they gave up so much. And this is a team that's been praised for being incredibly cerebral in the way that they ban out enemy teams, especially. I think giving Korn his favorite champion was a huge mistake.
I think a lot of that went down to Cool thinking that he had the answer, he had the outplay. But I think if we are going to singly target a weak point that particular match on OMG, it would definitely be in the jungle. Drug did not have the greatest performance on Kha'Zix, which is strange that he went to that champion for how well he's been doing with Lee Sin and Jarvan. So his Lee Sin stats are out of 11 games, he's won 9 of them. And out of 6 games, he's won...
Everything on the line here, but 1 game away from Worlds. I mean, that is huge, and it looks like we are into picks and bans, so we'll kick it over to that. First off the table, it is the Cow, as well as Maokai. That's been pretty constant.
Of course, again, this is 4.14, so Alistar has not had his nerfs. I believe we only saw him played once yesterday, so he should be banned continuously throughout this set. I expect Rise to be a target. Don't think they want to give that to Go-Going so easily. Not that Cole didn't hold his own, but Go-Going was definitely a strong point of threat there.
Yeah, Rise is off the table now, too, and we, of course, see Rengar banned away. I think these are definitely a little bit better choices, but this leaves Lee Sin open, and if Insec, if they opt to first pick it, StarHorn's on the blue side this time. It's been his signature champion, and we'll see if they go back to it.
I think they'll prioritize a mid-pick more, as 5 on Jarvan.
Yeah, I think that they've got to go for something that suits them a little bit better. Drug definitely needed to step up a little bit more. His Kha'Zix play wasn't terrible, but he looked a little flustered. You saw that fail flash on the back foot when he was trying to run away from it. But on your screen, got the victors from our last game. Yeah, they're thinking really, really hard about what they want to do this next time.
How StarHorn must feel at this point. I mean, you want to talk about pressure. Of course, Worlds is on the line. If they win this game, StarHorn automatically qualified for Worlds. If they lose, if they fall into the losers bracket, if they don't qualify at all, Insec has already stated, you know, I'm here because I want to go to Worlds, I want to be in the finals, and if I don't make it, I may not come back. So, huge gamble for StarHorn Royal Club.
Yeah, it's kind of...
Especially for... Korn kind of fell behind a little bit in the early game, but really came through strong. Expected to be the Orianna.
Yeah, I think I'll have to see that. Now, with Fizz banned out, yeah, that's the choice. So it is going to be that first pick, and that's fairly safe, all said and done. This does leave Lee Sin open. I think Drug will get a much better jungler in this particular case.
And again, picking up the Lee Sin, it would be a takeaway from Insec, but those stats, I mean, out of 11 games, 9 games won on Lee Sin. It's a ridiculous win rate in the competitive scene.
So I think they kind of have to go back to what their strength is, and we're getting a little bit of technical issues on our end, guys. We'll be taking yet another quick break. Sorry about the issue. We'll be bringing it back around in just a moment. Be right there.